Good morning, gardeners. You may or may not have known it, but you're now attending the annual meeting or the charge conference of the Garden Church. We're here for two reasons. One is to give a little update on the year about the garden for you, and the second is to let you know what we're going to turn into the UMC in terms of what happened to us during this year. So, Carolyn, if you would start us off with a prayer, please.
Absolutely. Will you pray with me? God, we gather on this All Saints Sunday, reminded of what has been, what is to come, and what is here today. We are gathered here on this Sunday morning to do business, and we ask indeed that this not be our business, that it be yours. That all we do, in fact, give you an opportunity to transform this world with love. We give you thanks, God, for the leadership of the garden, all those who have committed their times, their talents, and their energy to the mission of this church. Now be with us in this meeting, in the votes that we will take, and help us move forth to engage, to explore, to be inspired, to transform your world with love. Amen.
Thank you, Carolyn. Just a few comments from me and a little bit of housekeeping. There are some packets of what is included in what we are talking about this morning. Hopefully you can get a hold of one of those. And secondly, make sure you sign the sign-up sheet that has been floating around. We legally, there we go, we legally don't have a meeting unless we have 25 signers. So I think we're okay. Just a few comments from me before I turn it over to Carolyn for the real report. This year, as you may know, has been a bit of the perfect storm for the garden, to put it in movie parlance. At the beginning of the year, we needed to go to one service, as you know, and the result of that was that our attendance has plummeted from about 220 people per week to about 160 people per week, and that's a tough charge for the church to take. And secondly, at the General Conference that was held in St. Louis in February, there were some decisions made that didn't exactly jive with what our beliefs are, and as a result, we think that may have affected some people's attendance. I will just tell you that in some data that I showed you a couple of weeks ago, we were projecting that we would lose about $89,000 for this year. I don't think it's going to be that bad. We were a bit pessimistic, but we are going to lose money this year as a result of the drop in attendance. And also, I need to mention to you that we've gone through a strategic planning process in the last couple of months, trying to deal with the most dangerous things that we're facing. And so we've got three different committees working right now. One is the Financial Stability Committee, who is working hard to come up with all the ideas and thoughts that they can about how to stabilize our financial situation. We have a membership group, action group, that's working hard on trying to get the membership up. And then we do have a facilities group looking at what might be an alternative to us in terms of holding services. That does not mean that we have any intentions of all leaving beefy boards. Just to set the stage for later on, we're going to vote on three things today. One of them will be the budget, which will be reviewed with you here shortly, the budget for 2020. One will be the election of two continuing GLT members, and then we will vote on Carolyn's report as to whether we actually believe it or not. No, that's not true. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Carolyn, who indeed will give her clergy report at this point in time.
Thank you, Larry. You really covered a lot of what is in the clergy narrative report. So essentially the narrative is just, as the leader of the church, you report back to the conference what you feel is going on. I share a little bit of the history of the garden and recognize that about 4 years ago we decided to become an independent United Methodist Church. Now when I say that, I kind of say that loosely, because the history of us becoming a United Methodist Church is not something that we have really held on to. A number of folks will say to me, I didn't know I was going to be a Methodist church, those kind of things. And it was very confusing. But I have to tell you, you have put into place a dynamic board that's willing to face the difficult challenges that the church struggles with. And one of the questions they faced was, do we want to be a United Methodist Church? So your board at this time has made the decision that they want to be a United Methodist Church today. Of course, we all know that in 2020 there is a vote that will have an impact on whether or not we would like to remain a United Methodist Church. But today, as of right now, you are a United Methodist Church. You're an open, inclusive United Methodist Church. You will always be an open and inclusive church, no matter what those letters are behind it. You will always remain open to all people. As Larry stated, we know that all of these votes and things, and there was a vote that took place yesterday that I was all excited to report on, but it actually was nothing. They didn't say anything new. It was they were determining if the language was correct. So that's how molasses slow this process is moving. So we are prayerfully being mindful that Wesley, the founder of United Methodism, was a man who believed in the power of grace. And so we are praying that grace will cover this process and indeed continue to create places where the love of God, like the garden, where the love of God can be shared to transform the world. As Larry stated, it has been a challenging year for the garden, and I shared that with the conference exactly, pretty much the same way that Larry said right there, that we have challenges on 2 different levels. As mentioned, the strategic planning process is happening. It's a very hands-on process with the members of your board, and I encourage you, if you have any input on the following 3 items: membership development. So this is another area of challenge for the garden, because part of what we held on to for years and years was you were not required to join the church. That was an important part of being the garden. No membership was required. Well, now we're a United Methodist Church, so what does that look like for us? The board is dealing with those issues. We have a team focusing on how it is that we continue to encourage people into this community. We did a study a year ago where we know that this model, that this kind of congregation is appealing to progressive thinkers in the city of Indianapolis. We have the data that says, yes, people would really enjoy this experience and want to be part of this. We just have to figure out how to get them here. So that's what the membership team is dealing with. We're dealing with stewardship in a very direct way. More direct probably than you've experienced in the past. You may have received a phone call from someone. If you haven't, look forward, you probably will receive a phone call. Because we're trying to figure out how to make this church function. Keep in mind that we were under the arm of St. Luke's for so many years that we're still trying to figure out how to make this work for ourselves. So we have to ask questions in order to figure that out, and stewardship is a big part of that. Facility, as Larry mentioned, is another area that we want to look at. Now, as I said, we did put money into a study, and we know that this model is appealing to the progressives. We just have to figure out how to get the word of the garden out there. One of the ways that we're going to do this in the year to come, or in the next, I think it's 3 years to come, is we have applied to be part of a process called Engaging Young Adults. It's put out there by the Center for Congregations. The Center for Congregations is unique to Indianapolis, thanks to our favorite drug dealer, Eli Lilly. He created a whole effort to ensure that religion would remain and continue to be part of the culture. And so they offer grant opportunities, Main grant opportunities for congregations to explore how we can continue to have the love of God in the community and in the state of Indiana. So we have engaged in an engaging young adults process, and Lisa Sellers is part of that team, and she's going to share a little more about that as part of this effort. But essentially, that is my clergy narrative report. Reported a lot of what Larry already said, and it will be available online, the written report as well. And I'm going to turn this over to Lisa Sellers, who graciously is serving on a team with Harry Hammock, Kevin Young, myself, Larry, Lisa, and we're open to other folks being involved in this as well. So I'm going to have you get Larry's microphone, and you're going to hold it really close to your mouth.
I'm going to eat it.
There you
Right?
go.
That's what you told me. I'm just here to give you an update and maybe a little more explanation about what EYA is. And I am Perry Hammock today, slightly. The Engaging Young Adults Initiative, as Carolyn indicated, is being supported by the Center for Congregation. They recognize lots of data out there that churches of all denominations are missing attendees in the 20 to 40-year-old age range. They're just not there. But they did find out that there are some churches that are having success in engaging that age group. And so they have worked with those churches to understand how they're doing that and have built a model that can work as a template for other churches to build programs of their own that are unique to their faith commitments. And that's what we're participating in now. We submitted an application and were accepted to participate along with a number of other Central Indiana churches. And we're in an analysis and planning phase right now to develop what our pilot plan will look like. We are to submit that in late January, and as Carolyn indicated, the whole thing is meant to be a 3-year process. So why are we doing this? Well, we want to grow the garden. We want everyone to know that they matter and to discover why God has given them life, breath, and movement. And we want to help them on their journey to transform the world. The garden has a special message of love, involvement, and fulfillment through spiritual growth and action. And we want to share that story and reach everyone that's on a similar path and that long for a congregation and community to share that journey with. We've been freely given $1,000 to use in this initial phase in whatever way we see fit to help us build this plan, to get input from the congregation and 20 to 40-year-olds on what it is that they'd like to see. While the Center for Congregations has focused this initiative on 20 to 40-year-olds, we've recognized that there's really no reason why we can't use this across all age groups. And we're going to start the process by speaking to you, our current congregation, to understand your joys, concerns, spiritual longings, discover whether they're being met. If not, why not? Are they similar to those of other generations? And can we build on that? We don't see this as a change in direction for the garden, but baby steps that will help us embrace all who seek to serve in this mission together. Our next step is to actually have a survey with all of you that will participate and just have some conversations and listen to what you have to say. After that, then we will start to survey millennials, the 20 to 40-year-olds, whether they're part of our congregation or just people that we know who are willing to talk to us. And then we'll use all that data to begin to develop our plan and put it into the first phase, which will be submitted in January. There is funding involved that the Center for Congregations offers grants. we need to determine if we need funds, how many funds, because we have to match them. So if we say we'd like to have $5,000 to make this plan start, we need to match the $5,000, so that's where the fund starts.
Thank you, Lisa. The next thing we have is the budget. Martha Heinrich is going to go through that with us.
Thanks, Larry. Many people love numbers, many people hate numbers, so I'm going to try and take a middle path here and not bore you too much with budget numbers, but we do want to be transparent in what is happening with our income and expenses, and we will have more detail available for you if anybody really wants to delve deeper into those. For those that have packets, feel free to follow along. I do want to report that as of last night, our current budget situation is we are at a $59,000 loss for the year. That is a little bit more than we had projected to be at this time, and a lot of it is due to, as Carol and Larry has said, reduced attendance on that. When we budgeted for this year, we looked at every expense category, cut where we could, and yet we want to be realistic with what our income is proposed to be. You might have a question, as I would if I were in your shoes, about why is this year worse than the past years. We did have and still do have a 3-year grant from the United Methodist Conference. The first year was $60,000 grant, so we actually received income from the conference for the first year. We were independent from the St. Luke's Church. The second year, it was reduced to $40,000, and this year it's $25,000. Next year, that grant runs out, and we will not be receiving that income. So we have seen the effects on the bottom line due to both attendance, donations, and the grant being reduced. It's been a great way to get the garden kick-started in its independence, but we have picked up a lot of expenses that we did not have in the older days of being associated with St. Luke's. So for 2020, we have projected an income of $377,000. That's quite a lot less than we had projected for this year, which was $430,000. So again, we want to be realistic with the expectations. I need to point out that next year we have a $50,000 income item based on some fundraising effort. Well, the board will be working hard to determine what that is. It could be similar to the galas we've had in the past, but we really need some external income other than just donations from Sunday morning. So that is actually plugged into the income budget. For expenses next year, we have a total of $404,000 in expenses, and that is down from what we had projected this year of $479,000. So you can see every item has gone through. We're being very cautious in what we're spending, and yet we don't really want to change the nature of the garden and the service experience there. There is in your packet a breakdown and a graph of what makes up those expenses, and I'll just let you take a look at that. The bottom line for next year that we are projecting is a $27,000 loss, which hopefully we can do better than that, but we want to be realistic in what we're projecting the numbers. So does anybody have any questions? At this time, I'm available to talk in more detail with anybody that's interested.
Question.
Yes?
When you say we have a loss, what does that mean?
It means we do not have enough income to pay what we're spending. We do have some funds in reserve that are called designated funds, and there is a bucket of money that is shrinking that was originally a campaign around the time frame that the garden was becoming its independent church. So there are some funds to cover these losses. The problem is that we can't continue for too many years because those funds are being decreased also. So it really means that we are spending more than we're taking in. Nobody likes to have a negative budget, but we are in that situation right now.
Thank you, Martha. And now is the time when you need to do a little bit of work. We have to do some voting here. The first thing we need to vote on is that we have 2 members of the GLT, the Garden Leadership Team, which in theory would be turning over this year. They've done their duty and served 3 years. But thank goodness they volunteered to re-up. So I know Wendy Walters is in the crowd, if she could hold her hand up. And Bev, are you in the crowd? Okay, there's Bev. And so what we need to do is to re-elect those 2 individuals to the leadership team again. So do I hear a motion to approve both of those individuals as members of the GLT? Yes, a second?
Yes.
All those in favor? Aye. Nays? Thank you. Approved. The next thing we need to vote on is the budget that was just reviewed with you by Martha. So a motion to approve that, please. A second? Thank you. All those in favor of approving the budget that was reviewed, please say aye. Aye. Nays? Thank you. The last thing we need to approve is Carolyn's report, which is substantially in your package. So a motion for that? Motion. Second? Thank you. All those in favor, aye? Aye. And nay? Thank you all very much. That was great. Thanks for all your participation this morning. I think the only thing we need to do is to have Carolyn wrap us up. And Carolyn, it's as always your show.
Larry, that's always my show. My written report is actually not in that packet, but it will be available online. I know you're really excited about that, getting to that, essentially the narrative will be available online. I just want to note that Wendy and Bev re-upping is a really big deal, because the 2 of them worked so incredibly hard for your garden. I know it had to be the spirit that moved them to re-up. Because, thank goodness they're both retired, because honestly, the positions have been such in trying to establish ourselves as a congregation that they have both worked hours and hours on behalf of the garden. And so know that all of your leadership team, I have said that this board and the teams they put together work harder than any boards I have ever witnessed in all of my ministry. And so you are truly blessed with great leaders who are really looking forward to the future of this community. So I just want to give a shout out to those folks and make sure they know that you appreciate the work they're doing. So I was going to say the bagels are on us this morning, but considering that's about a $10,000 run behind today, they're not really. I don't know if you're aware, but the Donut and Bagel Fund has had a rough year. And so in the event that you weren't aware of that, and you're kind of like me, where you go up there every week and you just need to write a check a couple times a year, I encourage you to do that. But take this time now to enjoy one another and to enjoy the half hour we have before worship and prepare for our All Saints service, communion service. So go now in peace.
Carolyn, I would just say, if anybody would like to give me a good quizzing while we're wandering around here for a few minutes, feel free to do that. I'll try to answer any question. Thank you all for coming.
Yes. If you didn't sign in, there's a sign-in sheet if you didn't sign in. Please do so.